Hi folks, this is all the fruit. And when I saw those little fruits in a Turkish shop in Heidelberg, Germany, I was electrified. Because I've never seen any Crataegus or Hawthorn fruits being sold in a shop. Which is quite strange because there are hundreds of species throughout Asia, North America and Europe. And they used to be quite important for food, and yeah, they still are kind of important in some areas, but I've never seen them sold in a shop. I've foraged several species myself. I know that in China there is a Crataegus which has some commercial significance. I've foraged for Crataegus atzarolus, that's like the main edible big fruited hawthorn in western parts of the Mediterranean. I even think I found a place in Malta which must have been an orchard because there were some big fruited, variably colored Crataegus atzarolus shrubs there, which I guess were some grafted varieties. But yeah, there are a lot other hawthorn species. Actually, all hawthorn species are edible. You just have to be careful. They affect your heart. Usually they affect it positively, but they can basically increase your heart activity. So be careful, don't eat too much. And if you have heart problems, consult your doctor before you eat them. But yeah, they've been eaten a lot in different countries. And this one now is being sold in a Turkish shop in Germany. At first, of course, I made sure that those are not some little crab apples or ornamental apples. You could sell those. They are also edible. All apples are edible, just not all apples are very tasty. But no, it was indeed hawthorn. And then my attempts to identify them began. I mean, they are usually the size of cherries. Here is one really big one, the size of a really huge cherry. Here is one the size of a smaller cherry, more the size of cherries. All of those of this pale yellow. Actually, my phone in this case is showing the yellow as more bright than it is. In reality, the yellow is more pale than what my phone shows you here. Usually it's the other way around. My phones, when they see something bright yellow, especially bright orange, they make it more dull, but in this case, it makes it more bright. So, I guess that in this case this is Crataegus pseudo-heterophylla. It is growing in Turkey. It looks pretty much like this. It could be a yellow Crataegus atzarolus variety, but I've never seen wild Crataegus atzarolus that's yellow. It's usually dark red. There are also a couple other species from West Asia which could be it, but I think I'm going with Crataegus pseudo-heterophylla in this case. If you have a better idea what it could be, please tell me. Now taste-wise, yeah, let's start with the big one. You can really confuse it with an apple, and Crataegus also tastes a lot like apples. So why eating hawthorn at all when apples are much bigger? Well, there are different reasons. Firstly, if you don't have a garden, but if you are foraging somewhere, if you are traveling, wild crab apples are not too tasty. While wild hawthorns, there are a lot of tasty species. They definitely beat the wild apples. And instead of stealing apples from somebody's orchard, you can collect tasty hawthorns in nature. Also, apples don't really do in warm climates. They are great in cold climates because they grow everywhere and you can store them for many months. But in warm climates, like the almost frost-free parts of the Mediterranean or in Mesopotamia, they don't grow so well. That's why in Mesopotamia they grow a lot of quinces for thousands of years because apples don't do so well there. But often hawthorn does. When I was in Malta, they said, well, a couple decades ago, it used to be more popular than apples. Apples, they would ripen in June in Malta. They wouldn't be very durable. But Crataegus atzarolus ripened in September, October, and was usually even tastier than the apples they had there. And yeah, if something grows wild and is really tasty and of decent size, you can pick it. You can eat it. I bet children nibble them everywhere where they grow. You can feed it to your animals. You can make beverages out of it. You can make preserves. You can make a type of bread from Crataegus or with Crataegus. Bread nowadays is mostly made from grain, but in older times people would put everything they could into bread. So now let's try this Crataegus, maybe pseudopedicellata. Tastes like an apple. Part of the flesh is green. The brown stuff you see, well, in the middle, it's the remnants of the flower and the seeds. You can see that it's clearly not an apple because the seeds are big and surrounded by a hard shell. Funny how the flesh is green around the seeds. Three large seeds, so definitely not an apple. Interesting plant, definitely. It doesn't really beat a modern apple taste-wise. This one is a bit more ripe. This one seems to have just two big seeds. The flavor is apple-like with some hints of quince. Not bad at all. This one also has just two seeds. Interesting. Very interesting fruits, definitely. I would say it's not as tasty as Crataegus azarolos. Crataegus azarolos was softer and sweeter and more aromatic than this one. But this one is still good. So folks, what Crataegus do you think this is? Are you, in your country, are children or are old people eating some Crataegus? They forage or maybe even grow in gardens? Please tell me. Crataegus is a very interesting genus. I really like it and I really would like to learn more about it. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the highly interesting ethnic shops of Germany. And of course, if you don't want to miss any more of my videos, it's not enough to subscribe to my channel. You also need to turn on the notifications.